In 1821 to 1872, Old Town was considered the birthplace of California. It once began with settlers who brought the population to more than 600 residents. As the population increased, house residences were built around Old Town. In 1846, a U.S. Navy lieutenant and Marine lieutenant raised the American flag in Old Town San Diego Plaza. Later in 1968, the State of California Department of Parks and Recreation established Old Town State Historic Park to preserve the unique heritage that expressed San Diego. It currently has exhibits, museums, living history demonstrations, and a main plaza that is full of tourists and is a fun, exciting way to learn how we lived in the 1800s.
How do you think Old Town first started?
Old Town started, not as a town, as a very important place in 1769, the first mission in California. Now, town, 1821.
What is your favorite part about Old Town and why?
Why? We have 6 museums. This is one of the most beautiful and old museums in Old Town, 1827.
What time period do you think Old Town was set in?
As a park?
Well, when it first started.
Old Town, well, as a park was 1967, but Old Town started as a pueblo in 1821.
What makes people consider Old Town as the birthplace of California?
Because the first missions, you know what a Franciscan mission is? Okay. The first mission built in Alta California with the Baja and Alta was right here in 1769 up on that hill. Franciscans, missionaries. They built 21 missions in California, the first one right here.
So why do you think that would be important, the missions, to bring people in?
Bring the people in. The mission system was the Spanish California. People from Spain came in to Christianize, teaching praise to the Indian people.
And why,
1760.
why do you think people come to Old Town today?
Well, today is different. Most of the people, they don't like museums. 80% they don't. They come to the restaurant, Mexican food, recreation, Sundays.
No one really comes for the history anymore.
Right. The museum, very primitive. Including Mexican people, they don't know anything about museums.
Yeah. Most people don't know about the history. So.
Yeah, right. They don't. People from Europe, from China, they do. And they like it. You know. I do. But most of Mexican people, descendants of the Mexican people living in our town 200 years ago, they don't care. It's too bad. That's the reason.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. My name is Samuel.
Samuel? Alright. Thank you. I actually do know about all the missions, but my teacher
In July 1846, under the authority of U.S. Army Captain James Allen and with the encouragement of Mormon leader Brigham Young, the Mormon Battalion was mustered in a Council Bluffs, Iowa territory. The battalion was the director's
The Battle of San Pasqual is one of the most controversial battles in the Mexican-American War. Brigadier General Stephen Watts Kearny claimed the battle as a victory and gained a promotion for his achievement. However, no one really knows who won the battle. This battle has been researched by historians numerous times, and there is a lot of controversy on who won.
Balboa Park began as 1,400 acres of land set aside in 1868 by San Diego civic leaders. Balboa Park was bare for 20 years until park beautification was made in 1892, largely due to the contributions of Kate Shizens. This was for the grand opening of the Panama Canal from 1915 to 1916. This process includes stunning arches that have never been used.
What's one reason why Balboa Park is so beautiful?
One reason Balboa Park is associable is because 1,400 acres of beautiful gardens and wonderful architecture that you really don't find much anywhere else.
What was the main event that happened at Balboa Park?
It is the California Exposition celebration of the opening of the Panama Canal.
Who was a main contributor to Balboa Park?
8 sessions, planted and donated many trees and built all the gardens inside Balboa Park originally. And John D. Spreckles donated the Spreckles organ, the largest outdoor organ in the world, to the city of San Diego to be put in Balboa Park for enjoyment to the public.
What drew your attention to Balboa Park?
Employment. I work here.
The Horton House was built in 1870. Alonzo Estradas Horton built the house with a plaza in front as part of the hotel grounds. Bands played music and had concerts at the plaza. Once Texas and the Pacific Railway brought together the Transcontinental Railroad, there was a big celebration on the plaza March 10, 1871.
Horton Plaza was founded in 1870.
Why was it important?
It was important because of the celebrations and the festivals.
And then when was Horton Plaza first used?
You don't know? 1875.
And then who built Horton Plaza?
It was Alonzo Horton.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
The Rancho Bernardo Winery is family-owned and operated. It was founded in 1889 by 5 Italian immigrants. The winery has been around for 3 generations and 125 years. Receptions and tours and weddings are held at the winery. Some people don't know about the winery because it is tucked away in the North Country Hills. The winery has transitioned over the years from an early product and growing technique development in San Diego by the missionaries to Italian, Spanish, and French varieties. What's your favorite thing about the Bernardo Winery?
I think it's really interesting that during the Prohibition, when places like this were closed down, at the winery in particular, this one was not, because the churches in the area used the opportunity to buy the wine from the winery, so the winery was not closed down during that time. So it stayed open even while other wineries in the country were closed. Artifacts here, I'm an archaeologist and a historian, and I like the fact that all of the original farm equipment that was used here throughout the last 100 years is still here on the property.
Do you know when the winery was founded?
It actually was founded about 100 years ago. Well, in the late 1800s, 5 men came from Italy, and they started the winery. And their children have it today, and they're very proud of the heritage here.
What do you think is most important about the winery?
Well, I think the fact that one of the things that's important is this museum that you've come into today. This is our historical society, and we're trying to preserve the history of the past in this area of Rancho Bernardo and Poway. And I think it's very important that we are here because we're taking in all kinds of letters, stories, artifacts, things that have come from this area. So I think our attempt at keeping those preserved is really good on our part, and the winery supports us in that. So.
That's a tough question. I work here, that's fun. No. I think my favorite thing about Bernardo Winery is the fact that it's kind of open to the public. All my friends, everybody else can hang out and enjoy the place as much as I do.
Okay. Do you know when the winery was founded?
I do. 1889. A long time ago, 124 years ago.
Okay, and the last question, why do you think, or what do you think is most important about the winery?
I think it kind of gives a sense of history in an area around here that things are relatively new.
Old Poway Park is important to San Diego because it keeps a little piece of history in our society. An Army colonel named John S. Porter settled in Poway in 1948. His dream was to revitalize Old Poway and make it a place for people to come and enjoy the Old West. He started by purchasing a 1907 Baldwin No. 3 steam engine and a half-mile track. In 1986, the city of Poway bought the 4.75 Porter estate and the Baldwin steam engine.
What is your favorite thing about Old Poway?
I like the special events that we have, where we get a lot of entertainers and vendors here and have a lot of people from the community come by to have a good time.
Do you know when it was founded?
1986.
And what do you think is the most important thing about Old Poway?
Well, it's a good place for all the different people from the community to get together. We have a lot of volunteer groups here, so it gives them a place to do what they do, which is good for the community.
James Monroe Hartley founded North Park in January 1893. Hartley wished to develop the lemon grove. However, he found out that the land would not work. After a devastating drought and death of James Hartley in 1904, his family gave up on the grove and let the land grow follow. Next thing the family knew, Hartley's North Park was the center city for commercial and residential growth. The initial growth spurt was created by a new street-to-car system. Then, in the beginning of the 1920s, there was the second commercial and residential boom. Streets, sidewalks, businesses, and other common places were crowded with people.
Who is North Park founded by? Yeah. Why is North Park such a crowded place?
Because of the industrial and commercial boom.
Yeah. Do you know who Hartley is?
Probably the founder of North Park.
And what makes North Park so important?
The trolley cars, the rail cars.
The cross on Battle Mountain was put up in 1966. It was put up in memorial of the Battle of Santa Squall, which was 8 miles to the east. The original cross was knocked down from a storm, and a war veteran who lives nearby wanted to get the cross rebuilt. Jack, the veteran, did not have enough money, so he asked for donations and help.
So why did you come here today?
I just came here to do some hiking for exercise and check out the view.
Okay. When was the cross put up?
This cross?
Yes.
I believe it was put up in 1966
Okay.
to commemorate the Battle of Santa Squall.
Yeah. And then who fought in the Battle of Santa Squall?
I think it was the Mexicans and the Americans.
And then who won it?
I don't think that there was a victory. I think
Okay.
that it was kind of unsure or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Thank you.
The Kumeyaay, also known as the Tapai Pai Kamiai or Diagueno, are Native American people of the extreme southwest U.S. and the northwest Mexico. They live in California and Baja California mainly. Evidence of human settlement in what is today considered Kumeyaay territory may go back to 12,000 years. 7,000 BC marked the emergence of two cultural traditions. These traditions were the California coast and valley traditions and the desert tradition. The Kumeyaay are important because they are the natives of San Diego and its forefathers.
The history of San Diego is based off the Kumeyaay and English settlers who started from the bottom and worked their way up to creating something important and influential over the city of San Diego. Many, if not all, of the places my group visited are important symbols of what San Diego used to be to the current state it is now, and all that I went through.